We just watched Ad Astra. And the reason why I'm yawning, because that movie was boring as shit.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Caleb, go ahead.
Ad Astra, new science fiction movie?
Is it a science fiction movie, though?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a science fiction movie. What movie did you watch if you don't think that's a science fiction?
I think that was a thriller based in space.
Everything that's happened in this movie isn't plausible in today's technology. So
but
it takes place in a science fiction universe where people are living on the moon. People were born on Mars.
We see that all the time, though. So
God,
it's a stretch.
This is not going to be a fun review. This is the first thing I've seen Tommy Lee Jones in a while.
Of any note.
You know, he's not in the movie very much, but I thought he was very good when he was in the movie. Don't get too caught up on these side actors, because this is Brad Pitt's movie through and through. This is a Brad Pitt film. This is a Plan B film, which is his production company, and
Plan B equals Plan Brad, because it's absolutely his plan in this movie.
Oh yeah, it's Brad Pitt. Some things.
Let's do some positives. Because there's very few.
Oh man,
there's very few.
So we got
Brad Pitt.
Visually, the movie's
who kills it.
Movie's pretty damn good.
Visually, it is stunning. It's awesome. It looks
I'd actually say
amazing.
I'd actually say, with the exception of maybe one scene, I couldn't tell what was special effects in this movie.
What was practical?
And even that scene I liked. So
which scene are we talking about?
It was sort of like a horror scene, like towards in the first 30 to 40 minutes. It kind of caught me by surprise when it happened.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
See? Okay.
I was like, what was that?
That got me invested in the movie, and then they lost me absolutely again.
To me, there's scattered moments of
excellence.
Not that I think. I'll go ahead and get away. I think the movie is excellent, but to me, there's scattered moments of
No, you're gonna be the one.
Yeah, whatever.
That's okay.
That's whatever. I don't care. There's scattered moments of like excitement. To me, what really elevates that for me is that there's a pulsating score throughout that sort of like adds a sense of dread. So like,
you know what?
Every time you go into something new, you're like, I don't know what's gonna, like, people may come out of this and people may not.
Okay.
People may die.
Talking of score,
it never stops.
When they're on the moon, and the piano riff is playing.
Sure.
I immediately thought that was Radiohead. I really did.
Oh, it's very. This movie
and the score is fantastic.
To me, this movie is the film equivalent of Radiohead.
Yes. But that does not save this movie for me.
And that's what saved it for me. I'm gonna go ahead and say that this movie is bordering. To me, it's bordering art house territory, which is strange for a movie that's it had to be a fairly big budget movie that's being pushed as sort of like a blockbuster sci-fi space movie that's released by 20th Century Fox, which is kind of a Disney movie.
It's on its way out.
Which is weird, because it felt like a big budget, almost A24 movie. The fact that the movie doesn't give you the things that maybe you'd want out of like a regular sci-fi movies. I'm going to tell you, if you're watching the movie expecting any sort of like aliens or like any sort of creatures like that to show up, it's not going to happen, because the movie
check that at the door.
Movie's not about that. The movie is sort of depressing. It's got a lot of depressing themes in it. And it's like Brad Pitt's in every scene in this movie for a good reason, because the movie is about him, and it's about people's own selfishness.
His mental state.
People's own selfishness, I think, and the things that really nailed that mentality and stuff like that home was the scenes where he's sort of in space by himself, and he's just sort of talking to himself. And those scenes.
See, that's the best part of the movie.
To me, honestly,
that's the best part of this movie.
To me, this movie's. We are in totally the opposites. This movie's 2 hours and 2 minutes long,
and it feels like 4.
And to me, man, this movie flew by. Like, it was like over before I knew it. I was like, man, this movie's about over. Honestly, like, this movie at times blew me away. And I'm still not 100% sure how I feel about it as a whole. But I knew that it sparked certain feelings in me, and I think that the thing that this movie was going for, which is going to be a very niche thing, it really landed home with me, because it's a very quiet movie. Most of the movie takes place in space, and it breaks away from the score sometimes to show you the quietness in space, and those scenes where it breaks away and it's just quiet, it's just like, oh man, like, walking away from it, I had such a somber feeling, but also like a sobering feeling. Like it was strange. Like it's a feeling that I usually don't get coming out of a space movie. I didn't feel that way coming out of like Gravity or Interstellar. To me, you've never seen Interstellar. This movie reminded me of Interstellar with its themes, but it cut it down about 40 to 50 minutes and didn't have a whole middle section that was stupid. To me, there was no section in this movie that was like, that was jarringly stupid.
I disagree.
Really?
Disagree.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, so we're gonna break this film down. We're gonna break it down just a few, okay? And we're gonna break it down into acts, okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Act one, up to the part that we were talking about that was the jarring part.
The scary part.
The scary part was boring as shit until that part.
Oh man.
The second part of this film was boring as shit until we get to the third part. The third part, the last 45 minutes of the film, is absolutely amazing. But then it keeps going. And it keeps going. And it keeps going. When the big climactic thing happens, it keeps going. It keeps going. And that hurts this film to me.
Man, no,
it hurts this film.
I
did not need anything else after the big finale. I didn't need anything. Nothing.
I definitely did.
No.
I wanted a poetic sort of ending, and we got.
I didn't need a poetic ending.
I did, because
we got the poetic ending with what happened.
I need to know. I would need to know what it is that you're talking about, like what happened, because the movie definitely, if it's the thing I'm thinking of, it definitely needed another 10 minutes, and it went there with another 10 to 15 minutes. And to me, it needed that with the tone of the movie, the somber sort of tone that's borderline like First Man territory. With like we're definitely not trying to please people with this.
Well, First Man was better than this movie.
Well,
so.
Yeah,
just saying.
First Man is better than this.
We can't.
First Man is incredible. But I also think this is incredible. Story-wise, drastically different movies. But I think tonally in the themes that it's going for, they're sort of similar. I'd say Brad Pitt gives a little bit more emotion in this movie than Ryan Gosling does, because that's what Ryan Gosling was going for. This is what Brad Pitt's going for. But there's some just scenes in this movie that, like, just looking at, like, because you're in space, there's just some amazing scenes. And did you not like the very first scene of this movie? I thought that was awesome. And then there's, like I was saying, there's
if it makes you feel any better, I don't remember the first scene of this movie.
Like the end of the world starts happening, basically. Like the first big disaster happens. How do you not remember that? I think you were too tired. Here's the thing with me, is that I went into this movie, we were going through the previews, and I was tired. I was like, oh my god, I'm not gonna make it to this movie.
Because we never touch on it hardly ever again in the movie.
That's what the whole movie is about.
But it's not, though.
It is.
It's not.
That's the conclusion of the movie.
No.
To me, the boring element. There's a scene on Mars that's a more exciting scene than anything I've seen in the new Star Wars movies. Because first off, it looked real. And I was like, well, there's actual stakes on the line here because people are dying. So, like, just even though we're only in that world and the threats that's happening on the moon for a very short amount of time, because the movie's not about that little short segment, and these little short segments we see small threats that are considerably turned into like big threats
that don't do anything to the premise of the film.
It's all a part of the journey, though, and the adventure to get there, while also focusing on this character study of Brad Pitt.
It has no underlying on what goes on with the characters in the movie.
The movie didn't touch you, and it's not going to touch a lot of people. If the movie does not touch you, I think you're going to have a hard time with it. If
you're not going to have anything happen with these things, then don't do them. Just don't do them, because they're nothing that anytime that thing happens, the power shuts off for about 20 seconds, and then everybody's hunky-dory.
I stand by literally every decision this movie made. I mean, in this review, because you're taking me. No, you're not taking me up. I actually get it. With my grade that I'm going to give this,
he gives it an A+.
I give this movie an A, because I couldn't think of. I really love this movie, and I don't need to explain myself. I just loved it. When you love something, you love it. And there's a lot of people out there that love it as well, and there's a lot of people that are mixed on it, so it's whatever.
I'm mixed on it. I mean, I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. Yeah. But I'm right in the middle of the road. It's a C. Yeah. Visually, it's stunning. Brad Pitt does a really good job. The story is stupid.
Okay.
It is a paint by numbers, by the book story. Except for the guy losing his mind. This movie, which, if you are in outer space, you're going to lose your mind.
The way this movie is made is literally like no other sci-fi movie. Don't listen to this man on this. Maybe the story isn't incredible.
Go watch Rambo.
But the story... Oh, God, no. Let us know what you thought of this clearly divisive movie
in
the comment section below.
But I'm going to say, go watch it. Make your own opinion on it. Go watch it.
Truly, out of the 51 movies I've seen this year, there is nothing else even close, like similar to this movie.
It's better than The Kid Who Would Be King.
I mean, God,
that's saying something.
Whatever, which I also liked. Let us know what you thought of this movie in the comment section below. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you for watching.